Well, good evening and welcome to another very special NBC bedtime story. As you can see, today I am not outdoors and I'm certainly not getting a bucket of cold water thrown over me. But wasn't it a great story last week where we learnt all about how God can control everything? Now today's story is one that I talked about in adult church a few weeks ago. And it's an amazing story of how Jesus can forgive us for when we do things wrong. Do you ever do things that are naughty? And do you have to go and say sorry? Do you find it hard to say sorry sometimes? Well, this story today is about somebody who messed up over and over again. And Jesus still said to them, "I forgive you." The friend who forgives. A long time ago, there was a man named Peter who was best friends with Jesus. Peter was a fisherman. He was strong and brave, but he often said the wrong thing. Do you ever talk before you think? That's what Peter did, again and again and again. Peter loved fish. In fact, one day he and Jesus had fish for breakfast. Fish for breakfast? That's weird. But we'll save that part of the story until the end. On the day when Jesus first called Peter to follow him, can you guess what Peter was doing? That's right, Peter was fishing. "Follow me and I will make you a fisher of men," Jesus told him. Can you imagine that? Peter, fishing for men? Jesus explained that just as Peter liked to search for fish, Jesus had come to search for people who needed forgiveness. Peter loved being friends with Jesus. He saw Jesus do lots of amazing things. One day, Peter's mother-in-law was sick. Jesus healed her. Another time, as we heard last week, Peter was about to drown in a storm. But Jesus saved him. Slowly, Peter realized that Jesus was more than a friend. He was God. He would never let Peter down. But sometimes Peter let Jesus down. Like the time Jesus explained to his friends that he had to die on the cross, but that he would come back to life to offer forgiveness. "All of you will run away. You're going to say you're not my friends," Jesus said. Peter spoke up right away. He did that a lot. "I will never do that," Peter said. But Jesus told him, "Before the rooster crows in the morning, you will say 3 times that you're not my friend." "I would never do that. Jesus is my best friend," Peter thought. When soldiers came to take Jesus to the cross, Peter pulled out his sword to stop them. "Put your sword away, Peter," Jesus said. "My Father says this must happen." Jesus let the soldiers take him to a courtyard to stand trial. Peter followed from far away. "Aren't you one of Jesus' friends?" a young girl asked as she opened a gate for Peter to enter the courtyard. What do you think Peter said? "No, I don't know Jesus." It was a cold night, so Peter walked over to a fire where some people were warming themselves. "Aren't you one of Jesus's friends?" someone asked Peter. What do you think Peter said? "No, I don't know Jesus." Then someone else stepped forward and looked closely at Peter. "Yes, you are one of Jesus's friends, aren't you?" he said. What do you think Peter said? "No, I don't know Jesus." Right then, at that very moment, a rooster crowed. Jesus turned around and looked straight at Peter. Then Peter remembered that Jesus had said, "Before the rooster crows, you will say 3 times that you are not my friend." Peter was so sad. He knew he had failed Jesus again and again and again. He didn't just need to find other people who needed forgiving. He needed forgiving too. Peter felt terrible. He ran out of the courtyard and he cried and cried and cried. Peter had let his best friend down, and now it was too late because the soldiers had taken Jesus away to be killed. But Peter didn't stay sad, because Jesus didn't stay dead. 3 days later was the first Easter Sunday when Jesus came back to life to offer people forgiveness. But would he forgive Peter for failing so badly? One day, Jesus went looking for Peter. Where do you think he found him? That's right. Peter and his friends were fishing. Jesus called to them from the beach, and Peter jumped out of the boat into the water, and he rushed to the beach to see Jesus. And this is where Jesus and Peter had fish for breakfast. Wait, fish for breakfast? That's weird. Peter was so happy to see Jesus alive, but would Jesus forgive him? Peter wasn't sure. Maybe Jesus wouldn't want to talk to him. Maybe Jesus wouldn't want to be friends with him. But yes, Jesus did want to talk to Peter, and yes, Jesus did want to forgive Peter. Wow. And since Peter has said he didn't know Jesus 3 times, Jesus gave Peter the chance to say 3 times, "I love you, Jesus." And that's how Peter became a forgiven fisher of men. Peter spent the rest of his life telling people about his best friend, Jesus. He told them that if they put their trust in Jesus, he would forgive them again and again and again. That's because Jesus was Peter's best friend. He forgave him again and again and again. And if you trust in Jesus, he will forgive you again and again and again. Thank you so much for joining us for this, another NBC bedtime story. God bless you, sleep well, night night.